Hope nobody has to pee. All right, everybody. Welcome to the final Moonhawk Studios Presents of 2024. I am your host, Mac Paladin, and with me, as always, in the studio is my good friend, Adam.
You're back.
Yeah, last week was, if I don't pay this bill, I'm getting cut out of the will.
So are we at the point of selling kidneys yet, or ask again next week?
I don't think anybody wants my kidneys.
I mean, same.
Putting that out there. Anyway, we also have Kevin in the house.
Yeah, I'm here.
Eddie fan on the technicals.
I've added new buttons.
And the Golics.
In spite of everything, I'm still alive.
Not for lack of trying, huh? All right, we have a great show for you tonight, but before we get to the meat of the broadcast, let's get through the news. Adam, what's cooking this holiday season?
I guess this would be the potatoes.
I was just about to make that joke. God damn it.
At least the veggie side, right?
Yeah. Those are staple starches, but anyway. Well, the news is still sick. Now, since you missed it last week, I got a cold.
Oh boy.
Going to the doctor's office.
Of course.
How else do you get it,
Absolutely perfect.
Yes. So that's been not fun, annoying.
Yeah, annoying is the correct one there, yes.
Yeah. If you're not if you're not sure that you're ill, go to the hospital.
Yes.
They'll erase all doubt for you.
Indeed. But it's just, a standard head cold, not COVID or anything, so...
Well, that's good.
We'll get to me later.
Yeah.
So it's just been, taking cough medication, lozenges, and sinus pills. And dealing with the blurs that occur in between. And that's really my news for the week, because, I kind of haven't been up and about to do much else.
Right. All right. Kevin, what's cooking?
Nothing much really, just getting ready for Christmas and stuff like that, and getting ready for our very, very, very busy week ahead. So, yeah, that'll be fun. And other than that, that's all that's pretty much happened up in my world. So, Petty, what's happening in yours?
Oh, God, where do I start? Overall, the week has been fairly tame, but I guess kind of for Mac since he missed last week. I had COVID over the break.
Yay!
Yeah, not yay. It's the opposite of yay, in fact. I gave it to the whole family.
Oh.
Yeah. Luckily, we didn't have anybody over for Thanksgiving, but still, giving it to the sister, mother, and father is not great. And apparently my father is thinking he needs to take the fucking cow dewormer. So that's...
Ivermectin.
Yep.
Well, follow that with some Special K and you'll be right as rain.
Don't get me fucking started on that moron. But yeah, that's been fun.
I'm sorry, is this crowd old enough to know what Special K is?
Special K is still on the store.
The cereal?
No.
Oh,
no.
There's something different. Oh, there's a drug?
It's the horse tranquilizer.
Oh,
yeah,
called ketamine.
Oh.
Yeah, it's horse tranquilizer that is called ketamine. And I first learned about it in 1998 from the movie Armageddon.
See, the thing is, it's also a cereal.
Yeah, Special K is a breakfast cereal from Kellogg's.
It's the stuff that killed Matthew Perry.
Ah, fun. But yeah, that's been... I'm mostly over it. I still have a bit of a cough, and my doctor said I'm just going to have a cough for like a couple more weeks. So that's been fun. And today we had some really interesting thing happen. My sister and I were just kind of sitting home, and there was a lady trying to break into our garage. We have a detached garage, and we're literally sitting there watching her try and force her way into our garage.
The one that flooded.
Yes. It is currently unflooded.
See, I remember the canon events of this show.
Yeah. But yeah, well, it's 2-story, so the only thing that flooded was the downstairs.
Close, irrelevant.
But yeah, she was literally trying to force her way into our garage. And then I guess while I was getting my shoes on to confront her about what the hell she was trying to do in our garage, she started walking down the street like nothing happened. I was like, hey, lady, what the hell do you think you're doing trying to get into our garage?
My key's not working in this random house I just walked up to.
No, it's better. She's going on about how she's a domestic violence survivor, and I'm like, lady, that doesn't give you the right to break into my garage. Leave.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like, you can go to the YMCA or Family Guidance Center, not break in. It doesn't give you the right to break in my garage.
Yeah. Follow that essay with a B and E.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like, I think that might be one of the craziest excuses to trying to commit a crime I've ever heard. But yeah, that's been interesting. So we've kind of been keeping an eye out, because if we see her on the property again, we're calling the cops, obviously. But yeah, at least all the doors are locked, so she can't do anything. So it's more been dealing with the fucking crackheads. I wish I was joking. Well, it's okay, we're in northern Missouri, so it's meth.
Or fentanyl. Fentanyl is the drug of choice. Meth is too expensive.
Yeah, but at the same time, a couple weeks ago, we had a lab blow up like 5 blocks away. So, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, no. Special kind of great. And yeah.
I'm laughing knowingly, like, I'm not like, this is not schadenfreude at your misery. It is more like, yep, par for the course.
I can chuckle at it because nothing's happened to us directly. It's just the crazy shenanigans that goes on in a relatively rural town.
It's just people watching in rural America is basically what it is.
Literally, yes, because we live not too far from a gas station, so we get all sorts of crazy walking in front of our house. So yeah, it's one of those things you can chuckle because nothing's happened, but at the same time you look at these people and like, what the hell are you on?
I don't think we got that kind of time.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, and I guess for also kind of relevant for Mac kind of show stuff, I've started, instead of closing the stream off after we finish Fragments, just keep it rolling and playing it just like a game with us muted to the stream, just to see if that helps with viewer retention, instead of trying to get people to come back after an hour.
Right.
Gives them something to look at as what the youngins call enrichment.
I think you already do enough separate broadcasts throughout the week.
Yeah.
That having the split is not necessary. So yeah, that works for me. And then we get some, pre-show, post-show content.
Yep.
Depending on what gets recorded.
I'm mostly doing like filler stuff. Like I was doing some side quests in Horizon. Last week I was playing some of the Beyblade game. Stuff that if people miss, they're not going to be like, oh shit, really sucks I missed that story part, Right.
And I mean, as long as you don't mind doing the downloads and cutting it all up and then uploading separately to the YouTube channels. The fun thing about Twitch,
fine. I can just lob off the pre-show from the highlight and then download it later. I don't
is
need to
true.
pull it all down. Like, yeah, if this was before they had the highlighter, this would have been a pain in the ass. But because I can do it all on Twitch, it makes it so much better.
Yeah, and then just click send off to YouTube. So
Yeah, well, for MSP, I still have to download it and upload manually because if I export to YouTube, it exports to Atoms.
right, we don't want that.
Yeah.
I mean, it could work, but it's a whole thing.
It's better if I just download it and force feed it manually.
Yeah, but at least that it's only one thing.
Yeah, I literally just need to pull down MSP, which apologies. Hopefully I can see about uploading a couple more. I'd like to finish off last season at minimum over the break.
Yeah.
Just so we're somewhat caught up. And then some other things that kind of involve Ogre, Elemental Ogre, and Gullix is we've been doing Friday Digimon streams again. Because we've been kind of chipping away at Digimon World 3. So just more content for the channel.
Well, there you go.
See if we can expand the audience, because me, Ogre, and Gullix are all Digimon fans. So if we can kind of get more Digimon fans in here, hooray. So yeah, I think that's it for show updates, at least on my, back room. That's also kind of like a status report for Mac, let's be real. But yeah, I guess
I am greatly appreciative.
Yeah. All right, so I guess Gullix, you're up.
One thing I want to say before Garlic starts, I have to step away for like 30 seconds. I will be right back. So if you need to address me directly, give me that gap. Go ahead, Gullix.
Air horn.
Not a whole lot going on with me. We had our office Christmas party today at work. I got a nice blanket at the Yankee Swap. And I'm mostly done with my Christmas shopping, but I still have one thing I got on Etsy that needs to show up, and need to go out and get a couple of more things over the next couple of days, I guess. I have a couple of video games I want to play, but I have been having a little bit of a hard time finding the combination of time and will to do them. I don't know. I guess I've just been kind of tired this season. I think that's probably just about it. I don't really have a whole lot going on this week.
Well, I got back just in time then.
Hold
on while I fire down an entire bottle of ibuprofen.
Yeah. I actually need to go get something too, because I have a bit of a headache. So.
All right. Well, big updates are that I'm making progress towards getting my bills in order. So that means fewer disruptions in the show and possibly some additional streams. Shadows Mist has decided that she is done for the year. So our regular Blue Monday schedule will be disrupted a bit. I may carry on by myself. I just, for a while now, I just haven't felt like solo streaming, especially given all the problems that I've had. But I found this beautiful new computer desk, very sturdy, wooden and composite board desk with a cord hole, not to be mistaken for something else, CORD. In case I slurred my speech.
Later.
Yeah. Hence the content rating. But I went out today and got some items for the arcade setup here. But what's great about it is I no longer have the rickety side table over here that the cats like to knock over, because I have this really heavy-duty dual monitor stand that has a couple of HP workstation monitors attached to it. And So it was precariously bolted to this folding table to my left, and Doodles would jump on it, and you know, dun 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 dun. So I now have it bolted to a secured table. The bookshelf is on top of it. It's roughly the same height that it was before, which is amazingly lucky. And the room aesthetically is much nicer because the center of it is open and doesn't have a side table plus dual monitors like swinging out into the middle of it. But while I was out today, I had an objective. I noted last time I was at Bookman's because Bookman's tends to sell things like these little. Adam, you remember the TV arcade consoles that they used to sell? You know, it'd have like 8 games from Namco or whatever in it, like Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, or whatever.
Sorta, yeah.
Got like AV cables on it. It's got like a yellow cable and a white cable for video and
Yeah,
sound.
from Jack Specific.
Yes, exactly those. And I've been finding a bunch of them at Bookman's on the cheap. And you know how I'm trying to build my arcade anarchy arsenal. I want to have a repertoire of things available in addition. And, you know, the arcade one-up machines are quite expensive. They're about $300-400 even on sale. Even used, I'm lucky to find a decent one below $250. So a lot of these Jack-specific arcade games have the same selection of games as the arcade one-up machines. I'm sure that there's some kind of partnership there that like those replica machines are the evolution of, so to speak. You know, everybody decided that nostalgically they wanted to have actual gigantic arcade cabinets in their houses instead of just little, you know, plastic units you plug into the TV. The only risk is, you know, these units are about 20 years old, so they do break a bit. But I acquired some new ones. I got a Pac-Man 5-in-1. I got a Frogger. That's it. All it had was Frogger on it. Fucking Konami. I did not know that, you know, every version of Frogger I've ever owned was published by Activision. I did not know that the game was developed by Konami. But it was. And so I got one of those for $8. And it is the actual arcade Frogger, not some, you know, some knockoff. And I've got a few more in my shopping cart on eBay. And then I built, and you can see it on my TikTok, I kind of built a arcade cabinet with a 15-inch Samsung TV. And, you know, I mounted a medicine cabinet to a bookshelf and then put all the guts inside of this thing and painted it black. And it came out really, really nice. And I'm looking for an 8-position switch box for all of these little TV arcade units that I've got. And then I'll have an arcade station that I hooked all these little things up to. And then I think I'm ready to roll. I also want to put, I'm going to get some pieces of the fancier plywood, the 8-layer plywood or whatever it is, and have side panels made for this thing that are shaped like an actual 5-foot arcade unit. I think it'll also serve the purpose of making my little contraption sturdier. But other than that, we're pretty well set to go with this whole arcade anarchy thing. I just have to get the nerve to actually do it, you know, pull the trigger and all that. And I found some retro gaming stuff. I got a really nice USB arcade joystick set up here for my Neo Geo emulators. I got a hold of a Lightning-based backbone for my iPhone XR for only $30. Considering Lightning is no longer the thing for Apple, I will use this as long as I can. Probably replace the XR with a iPhone 13 or 14 before too long. I'm not really ready to go to the 15 or 16 yet, because those are both USB-C asterisk. And so I'll finally be able to start playing Call of Duty Mobile and all that stuff again on stream, because the backbone does actually work with my HDMI to Lightning adapter.
Huh.
I'm pretty thrilled about that. I got for $1.99, I got a little stand to rest it on, and I found out that the Bookman's that closed on Ina Road has been replaced by a bin store. And I don't mean like you buy plastic bins, and shit like that. I mean that it's just random stuff dumped in bins. And depending on what day it is, they either go by the pound or by the item.
Oh, it's
and
not like one of those where you order, or like order rejections. They buy them in bulk.
They might have some of that stuff too. And I wanted to look into that too, because there is some stuff I might be able to acquire that way as well. But I found some neat stuff. I found a mount for my stray microphone here, and I found a really nice camera holder, and just a couple other odds and ends. There was a lot of Temu, and I'm going to say this with air quotes you can't see. There was a lot of Temu artwork in these bins, like the printed vinyl stuff that you get for $1.99 off of Temu. For some reason, there was a metric ton of this.
The stuff that if the copyright holder knew there would be a Hellfire and Brimstone?
Yeah, like I found one of these 8x12 aluminum signs from the game Detroit Become Human. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one, but it's pretty wild. I've seen videos of
it.
Don't talk about David Cage here.
Oh, okay. You'll have to tell me about that after the show. But yeah, I found some stuff. Today was Dollar Day. Wednesday is Dollar Day. So until 6 p.m. when they close, each item is $1. And so you can find some pretty neat stuff. I found a 12-volt 2-amp power adapter to replace the one I was missing off of my Street Fighter 2 unit. So that was a hell of a find. I'm currently using a universal adapter on it, and I don't feel that that's the best way to do it. So having a pretty much OEM power adapter for my Arcade 1-Up unit makes me very happy, because you guys know how I am about original hardware, especially with all this retro shit. So yeah, some really good finds, and I didn't spend a lot on it. I kept it relatively cheap. Had a nice dinner at Filiberto's. Got the breakfast burrito and chips and salsa and extra large beverage, and was able to get cat food before my cats decided to destroy the entire apartment and dig their way into my neighbor's apartment.
Again.
Because I would not put it past Tippy or Doodles to do this. Not so sure about Snowy just yet, but he's starting to emulate Tippy. They're BFFs. So yeah, that's about it for me. Obviously, I'll have more stuff about streams and stuff when we come back in the new year. And I'll have a clearer picture of which way that's going. But I'm just happy now that I have a workbench in my studio, in range of my camera, so I can show people stuff that I'm working on and fixing and so on and so forth. Yeah. All right. So without any further ado, here let's take a look here. Today is December 18th. It is episode 3, and we have OneSheepArmy on the broadcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Sorry, it's like 6 a.m. here, so I'm not like the most energetic guy around, but yeah, I'll try to manage.
Okay. So I'm going to lead off. I'm going to lead off with one question, and then Adam will take it from there. So we'll hopefully be able to keep you engaged for the duration. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. I'm a comic book artist from Italy, and well, to be honest, you can say about me that I'm kind of specializing poop comics, sort of. I mean, it's definitely like a major focus for some reason, and well, I'm doing it since 2013 professionally. I started drawing short stories for FemForce. I don't know if you are familiar with it. And then I started doing my own thing, basically self-publishing my stuff, in particular a superhero series titled at first Manifest, then Tessatius. And well, yeah, I've done more than 100 issues. I'm currently finishing issue 105, which should come out next week on Christmas Day, even though it's not really a Christmassy title and issue, but well. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. If you have questions, please go ahead.
All right, Adam, let's get started.
I mean, oh, let's see. Where to start? I suppose we should begin with what made you want to pursue the vocation of comic book artist professionally.
Oh, basically, I always loved to tell stories by drawing since I was in kindergarten. When I didn't even know about something called comics. So when I found out about comics, I was like, yeah, sure, I'm in love. And so yeah, I was pretty lucky because I, found out what I wanted to do in my life very early, and I did my best to stay focused. And I mean, there have been moments, of course, when it would have been easier to drop it, but well, I guess I stay consistent, and some point I decided that it was time to try to make it a profession. And well, fortunately, I mean, it worked out, and it's still working out, and well, so that's it. It's basically comics are like the love of my life in a way.
Right, so I see. And whoa, what was that?
Alex.
I think that was Golux. He forgot to mute.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, your mute wasn't so muted. Anyway,
Sorry, I was mostly out of the room. I hope it wasn't too loud.
no, it was just a bit distracting.
Well, I apologize for that. I will be more careful about whether I am muted or not.
Indeed. Anyway, getting back on track here. So when you set out to become a comic book artist, was the intent always to become an NSFW artist, or was that a goal from the get-go?
So I was always interested in those comics that you don't want your mother to find out you are reading. I'm always been attracted by stuff that wasn't suited for kids, even when I was a kid. And that goes also for movies and, well, in music too, in a way. So yeah, there has always been something about like a source of disapproval by the general audience, and but in a way, I don't know. It kind of, I guess I just did what I wanted, and that came out kind of naturally. Also, keep in mind that since a very young age, I was also really into mythology, and I was really into the kind of inappropriate myths. And so, yes, I guess that it's just a part of me that I like to express creatively, because I'm a pretty boring person. But creatively, I don't care, and I try to do what I want, and with as much as humor as possible, without taking myself and what I do too seriously, but with the right also mindset, because I think I'm pretty locked in. But yeah, I don't. It's a part of me. I can do kids for stuff for kids, and I'm never, that doesn't interest me, and I'm not also really into general audience stuff. So yeah, I mean, it might change as I grow older. I don't know, but for now, yeah, I'm on the filthy side of entertainment. Yeah.
I mean, Mac, you could probably chime in here with a few things in that direction.
Yes, I am notoriously, and not so secretly, like the worst kept secret on the internet. I am Mace Palladino, creator of Ship in a Bottle and Peppermint Saga. So
So,
two of the bawdiest webcomics on the internet.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
but I suppose that does get into a question from the other side, so to speak. You don't consider yourself to be a porn comic artist, do you? Or
Um,
or do you specialize in like catering to fetish material? Let's say.
I'm probably one of the few artists that has no problem being considered a porn artist, because I think that I actually prefer porn to erotism, or how do you want to call it? Because I mean, I find, for me, porn is like a subgenre of comedy, because I'm really into stand-up comedy, and my favorite is Bilix, and he always had this sort of very dirty content, but it was also kind of enlightening. And I mean, sex and death are two great themes, and for me, like, erotism is too pretentious. Porn is more honest for me, so I have no problem being considered a porn artist. Actually, I think I've described myself as such in various occasions, so I have no problem actually. I don't know if that answers your question, though.
I think it does. And yeah, that's a fairly refreshing take on the matter. Though I don't know. I don't think
I
we've.
mean, I can understand that people might disagree with that. I mean, and I'm also not saying that, oh, it should be open for everyone or make it mainstream. No, not at all. But I think it's not like this bad evil, like many people, especially on the internet, say that, oh, porn ruins your life and addiction. No, addiction is always the result of something else, and so
Right, but there are more
it's getting too dark.
Yeah,
relieving the stigma of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I like to say,
absolutely.
the not so secret life of Mace Palladino, my alter ego.
But yeah, it's also how do I put this? The level of intimacy, perhaps. You know, people who have, say, nudity in their comic aren't necessarily aiming to have. It's not necessarily porn. That gets into the what you said, eroticism versus porn debate. But
Yeah,
also,
for instance, no, go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
but also there are comic creators here, like my colleague, who do the porn stuff, on the side, but have general audience stuff in the front.
Yes.
Martian Moonhawk,
And-
Lavenders.
I mean, the last comic I made, and it's the one that I sent you, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty much, mainstream. I don't know, at least by my standards. But yeah, because I wanted to do something without that the NSFW stuff. But so I needed a break, and so I developed that, which was actually an idea that I had from quite some time. And but at the end of the day, like it I go back to that because it's fun, and
Yeah.
I have readers that love them. They keep asking me about those characters and new issues, and they pay me to draw them for commissions and all that. So, and I mean, it's I owe everything to, especially to the Tessative series, because I mean, more than 100 issues. I mean, I definitely owe something, because I mean, it pays my bills basically. And so, and I mean, it's really, really fun, because the approach that I have, especially in the last couple of years, and it's like, let's try to make the Batman animated series, the Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, but with boobs and porn, and so it's a very, I mean, it's, no pun intended, hard, but because I mean, you have to still keep things fresh, and in a context of a superhero, of the superhero genre. But it's very rewarding, actually, creatively. And I mean, and honestly, the NSFW audience is one of the, if not the best type of audience you can have, because they are like super chill. I mean, yeah, sometimes they get like going frenzy, but they are like super chill, super cool, and very supportive, not toxic at all. And so it's a joy to be there. I mean, in my experience.
I have experienced the toxic side of that, but we'll cover that
I
later.
have no doubt. I mean, the internet is wild.
Yeah, I've been doing adult comics online since 2007. Oh,
yes. Yeah, I'm sure you have some.
You will stumble on it eventually. It just.
Oh, but I think also, I don't know if it has to do, I don't know, probably with nationality. I don't know. I mean, I guess I've been lucky. I'm the only like couple of bad encounters that I had were on Tumblr and DeviantArt years ago.
Well, I mean, Tumblr.
But nothing too crazy. I mean, I was like, well, yeah, okay, I don't care. I was like the dude. Yeah, that's your opinion, man.
Yeah, that's just like your opinion, man. From the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually have a follow up to Troubles on the Internet. When I was doing a little bit of research on you to get a feel for your comics and stuff.
Yeah.
I had a rather
Sorry
interesting
about that.
revelation. No. I had a rather interesting revelation, and so that brings us to this question. Over the name
Yes.
Clairvoyant, have you ever received any, shall we say, Sierra Mist-like problems with Marvel? Do you know what I'm talking
no.
about here? First of all,
Yes, the original, the Golden Age Black Widow.
mm. Excellent.
Is that
Okay,
what you're
good.
referring about?
Yes. Any
Uh,
troubles there? Any grief?
no. First of all, I mean the big corporation owes me because my comic was originally titled Manifest. Then NBC made the TV series called Manifest about like a plane. It
Oh,
was a Lost like TV show,
yeah.
and but fortunately, I was already deciding to change the title to the main character. I mean, Tessateus. So I was like, well, yeah, okay, maybe this is the right time. But about Clairvoyant, no, because she is. I mean, it's two two things. It's too generic,
Mhm.
and second, it's public domain. Marvel too used their name because there was an obscure comic book from the Golden Age
Mhm.
titled Clairvoyant, which, fun enough, had nothing to do with clairvoyance. I don't know why. It was basically like a sort of a soap opera, which the character was like he had no memory, but basically, yeah, it was a constant damsel in distress for her boyfriend, who was like a detective or some guy from the army, the
I'm,
usual stuff.
I
But
am so pleased. I'm so pleased that we were talking to a man of culture and taste here.
but
I love it.
I mean, I kind of like I have like a sort of a possible other title for the series, and I'm probably change it at some point, especially if I'm thinking about there is the possibility of making Clairvoyant like an ongoing series or something like that, and probably I will use another name that has more to do with the world she's in. So yeah, I have a plan B, but no, Marvel can do anything because it's a public domain character. I mean, they stole that too. So I mean, stole it's for everyone use. So
Right.
I also made a comic book with Futura, which was another Golden Age character from Fiction House, and I also use another Fiction House Golden Age character. Mistra, the Mistra, but Mistra is the goddess from Dungeons and Dragons. Mistra,
Oh,
um, the Moon Maiden. I don't know what was the original title, and so yeah, it's fun to go back to this character, which were also fairly popular. I mean, Mista and Futura back in the days, but people have almost completely forgotten. And I if the concept interest is interesting enough, and sometimes I mean just the name may be interesting, and I work on that, and yeah, at the end of the day, I had boobs. So,
nice. All right. Well, that was it for the moment, Adam. So back to
All
your
right.
line of questioning.
Okay. I suppose we ended up in a particular space that I wanted to ask, and that is, I'm trying to figure out how to ask this, so I'll just go for it. Why
yeah.
tits? Like,
White
Why
Lightning
not?
Productions has entered the room.
um,
Um, I don't know. It's they're just fun. It's like the Dimension song. I don't know if you Confessions in Three Movements. If you don't know it, check it out.
Uh-huh.
And
Li-
and
Listen, man, I'm with you, dude. Don't sweat it in the slightest.
oh no,
No.
absolutely no worries.
No, I was just wondering if it
It's
was
a
your
fair
own preference.
question.
If you
It's
were,
absolutely
if it's your own preference, or if it was your audience preference.
Oh
well,
no.
That is a good follow-up.
In that sense, I don't care about my audience. I do what I what I like first. Then
I do what
it
I want.
happens to. Then it happens to have some others, fruiters and appreciate people that appreciate that. But no, I mean, I always yeah, I guess I'm always been a perv. Jokes aside. Uh, um, no, it's also. I mean, my favorite subject to draw is the human body, and when I was a kid, I was kind of frustrated because I couldn't draw female characters in a appealing way, in a cool way. So I spent a lot of time learning how to draw women, and the moment when you hit puberty, I mean that's a pretty big incentive, and and so because I mean drawing your own porn, it's priceless, and so I basically I got so comfortable that I kind of could do what I wanted. And I tell you this sort of trivia. When I was around like 9 years old, uh, for some reason, in a obscure Italian TV show, they were talking about comics, and they showed one of the panels, which actually was a splash page from Sin City, that yellow bastard, the Nancy Callan striptease scene, and and I saw one of those drawings by Frank Miller, and I mean, at that time, those were like the biggest boobs that I ever seen drawn, and I was like, "You can do that!" And yeah, the world changed, my friend. Yeah, yeah, fuck it, I'm going crazy now, and I mean, it's pretty ridiculous because now, I mean, in my comic book world, Nancy Callan will be like an A cup.
Toot
But
toot,
back
everyone on the
then,
Back Pain Express.
Oh my god.
but, it's yeah. But like I said, I always loved doing stuff that wasn't inappropriate creatively. But and it's part of the hustle. I don't know. It's just fun, and it's kind of challenging also, and because um, I don't know, maybe if you want later, I will explain also the meaning of my name, and if you take the initials OSA, uh, in Italian it reads Osa, and Osa means to dare, to take risks, and so it's kind of that. And by the way, it was a serendipity. I didn't plan that, and so I have to do something that makes me kind of uncomfortable because it wasn't easy at first. In fact, the older issues of Tessa weren't as extreme as I went further. Uh, and I mean, since the last couple of years, I'm just like, yeah, I have no rules. I'm chaos personified. But yeah, it's basically, yeah, I'm trying to um, be. I'm trying really to do what I want without caring as that much. I mean, I try to be respectful and all that, but I mean, I do what I want, and it's a great feeling. It's challenging, but it's great.
I mean, it seems to be working out for you so far. Given that you've been
Well,
able to live
I
off
don't
of
think
your
there will be
creation.
any theme parks, but yeah, I mean, it would be cool. I mean, I hope so, but I, I, it's yeah, I have to work on that. Probably, yeah. I'm lobbying myself into the theme park world with boobs and inappropriate content. Yeah,
I mean, it would be a feat, if nothing else.
yeah.
But anyway, so I suppose this would be a good time to delve into Tessa herself, because
Yeah.
we really haven't talked about your centerpiece as a comic yet.
Mm-hmm.
So what does Tessa do?
So, do you want like a short bio for the character, or what? Like the concept? I don't know, or a bit of both.
Yeah.
Well, so Tessa Teus is a superheroine. She was created to be the vessel of a sort of backup of the universe, basically. And her body was created to hold that type of power. And the subtext, if you want, is it has to do like with the mythological concept of the great mother, prosperity and all that. I mean, from a drawing perspective, I mean, it's pretty obvious that there is about prosperity there. Um, and so she was basically created to be a sort of a weapon. And the story is about I mean, it was now it moved on from that story arc, the Cloud Gatherer story arc, which basically lasted for 93 issues in one way or another.
Mm.
And yeah, it was about basically Tessa being her own individual without being like a tool for anyone. And yes, that also manifests in her personality and her career choices, because she is a sex worker, and she is a very in your face in a world that is already pretty extreme, because the world of manifest is obviously over the top. And but yeah, basically she's a superheroine. She's like I like to describe her as I used to describe her as Superman with a sex drive. And yeah, I stand by that.
Hmm.
And the concept, well, I created the first version. I think I was like 2004, 2005. I was finishing high school, I guess. Yes, something like that. And I'm at first she was like a teenage superhero, and I hate those. So I decided to, for some reason, to make. But she was like uh, the previous generation of the characters I was developing at the time. And so I decided to, well, let's make her appear now. And of course, she was a MILF now. And when I started drawing the adult, the grown up version, I was like, well, I was like, Mary Jane, well, face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. And, I started to uh, to write about her, to collect ideas and plot, and basically, I mean, I think I've never been inspired by a character I've created like her, and I had you know so much material, and most of them I probably even forgot about, and yeah, but despite all these ideas, I wasn't sure that she could be like a main character. But then all of a sudden, when I decided that I had to make my own stuff, my own series, I was like, yeah, of course it has to be her. What I was thinking about with all this material. Why should I start from zero? And so and the rest is very inappropriate history. But it took me time to kind of, even though I knew so much about them, but actually telling stories and doing comic book pages. I basically reinvented her and discovered about her all over again. So it's it's been very entertaining even for me, working on her and all the cast and all that, because of course when there are many characters in the Testative series, and of course you know the the side character is often more considered more interesting by the other readers. It's sort of the Han Solo uh, type of situation. But yeah, when I don't draw her for a while, people always start asking, "Well, where is this? We want a new issue." And and yeah. So next week, and also in January, because I'm doing 105 and 106. There will be new content. It's been kind of odd for me in the last 2 years not doing a new issue of Tessa every month, but I kind of needed it because I wanted to explore other characters like Clairvoyant, and also take a break, because 8 years doing a monthly series all by yourself on my own. I mean, it's you get to a point where you are pretty tired.
Indeed. Um, but it sounds like the break has been very refreshing. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
but
And I
are you going back to Tessa regularly, or is this like a mini arc kind of deal?
I it's a mini arc kind of deal. I'm doing these 2 issues, then I'll start working on something else, on another character that appeared first in Clairvoyant, but she also had like a small role in one of, I guess it was in Tessa Tales 93, a character that is called the Spectra, which is another like Golden Age tribute, because it was created as an homage to Fletcher Ang's Phantoma. I don't know if you know the character. And but yeah, it's totally different actually from Phantoma. But yeah, at first that was the input,
Mm.
and so I'm gonna do that. And yeah, also a new comic series to post on Patreon over the course of from January to April, probably. Yeah. uh, I'm still like kind of figuring out the logistic and the schedule, but yeah, monthly Tessa, I don't think so, because I think it's best for now, having like 4 to 6 issues per year, and the rest using it for other characters and new project. But I'm gonna I want to do again a new issue each month, but not exclusively Tessa. Because last year, I mean 2024, not last year, well, almost. I stopped. I didn't do a monthly. I didn't kept a monthly schedule because I needed that. But now I'm no. Let's go back to that. But not doing Tessa exclusively. Almost every month, like yeah, 2 issues of Tessa, then I don't know, a 3 issue miniseries of Clairvoyant, and then I don't know, 2 issues miniseries of another character. This type of deal.
I think that's a healthy mix.
Yeah, yeah. Also because the fun the readers like that in 2023 when I started, and also I can explore other characters, minor characters if you want, and maybe I don't know, you get another quote unquote hit, and it's a good thing. And so yeah, the idea is that, and also keeping it fresh for me. Also because it's kind of hard now to do every month, to like a superhero story with also because I have to put something huge and make it work with the superhero type of plot, and it can be challenging with that every month, so you need to switch the gear here and there.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's not as creatively limiting either.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
um,
And also because
right.
you know so well the character that it feels like you are not really doing anything new or interesting because you are so comfortable, and you want to always have that sort of I don't know, maybe. But with Tessa, it's great when you are doing something else and then you go back to Tessa because you feel like home. You're like, yeah, I can relax, go almost on autopilot, and it's great in that sense. But yeah, doing it consistently at this point, it feels like you are not really putting an effort almost, and you want to avoid that.
Hmm. Yeah, that does make sense. Um, right. So I think I've run through my gamut of questions. I'll see if anyone else here has anything for you further.
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
I think I covered it too.
Yes, I think
I-
you've asked everything I was thinking of.
All
All
right.
right.
Okay. Well, it was great having you on the show, and I appreciate you making the time so early in the morning in your area.
No problem.
Yeah, but that was a lot of fun, and we'll have to keep an eye on things and see if a return visit to talk about future projects is in order.
Absolutely, it will be my pleasure.
Do you have any events, personal appearances, or like Kickstarter or something that you want to promote before we go?
Well, I mean, beside my social media, you can find almost everything you need to know there because I keep it, you know, fairly up to date.
Mhm.
But yeah, besides the fact that next week I'm gonna publish the new Tessa issue, and nothing really. I mean, just follow me on Twitter, and I mean, keep it away your kids from my profile, and Everything you can find everything there basically. Yeah,
Okay.
it's the easiest way to stay in touch with.
All right. Well, again, thank you for being on with the show with us, and
Yeah,
we'll
for
talk
having me.
again. All right.
Great.
All right.
Thanks.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. Coming up next is the entertainment segment. Adam, you know the drill.
All right. Kevin, I think you'll want to lead off on this one because fuck the mouse.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Take it away.
Oh, we want to start with that? Okay.
I,
Well,
Let's choose violence to lead off the show.
honestly, I think we should probably, yeah, yeah. Honestly, Adam, I think you should probably at least lead in, have basically the intro to it, and then I could possibly add on to it because
right. So
honestly, it makes me upset about it. Mm-hmm.
well, it's
I'm
not so much
dying
a
of
lead in.
anticipation.
Well, it's a pattern at this point because
Uh-huh.
the Disney Corporation has decided to capitulate to the incoming administration on several fronts, but for the one that's most relevant to the purposes of entertainment, they have begun excising transgender storylines from their media. It started a few weeks ago
Yes.
with the announcement that an episode of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur would be shelved because it features a transgendered character. And it also involved the playing of said transgendered person on a sports team. And now it came to light.
Specifically
I
the
think-
volleyball team.
Right. The upcoming animated series Win or Lose from Disney Pixar, which centers around a co-ed middle school softball team, one of their players would have been a transgender girl, and would have heavily included the story of gender identity. But this has been nixed.
Oh boy.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
let's let me take it from here then. Yeah. So, so yeah, this was going to be it looked as though apparently there was going to be like a couple of lines, or maybe adding up to not less than 6 minutes or so of content that they just decided to take out. Now, that's bad enough. That is bad enough. The problem here, most specifically, is that they specifically cast a trans girl, a girl by the name of Chanel Stewart, specifically to voice a this transgender character. Like, they were specifically casting for a trans teen to play this character, very specifically, so that it could be an authentic representation, right? But the night before the story broke in the news, apparently they called her, because of course at the time she was underage, so her mother was deeply involved in everything. But they specifically called her mother to tell them that not only was the storyline nixed, which was bad enough, but apparently, according to Chanel Stewart, her character is now going to be a straight cis girl instead of a trans girl. Like, yeah, you're going to be part of the show, but you're just not going to be trans anymore, even though we casted you so that this character could be a trans girl. But because of transphobes and the concept of, well, we want parents to discuss this on their own time.
it's much more sinister than that. I mean, if you've actually been listening to what Trump is saying, he's trying to excise the plague of transgenderism, which is a whole bunch of problematic words in a single sentence. From this great land of ours, and it's
Of course, if you take the whole, we want parents to speak on this on their own time in their own situations and whatnot that Pixar's saying, that bullshit. What actually happens in most of those situations isn't a constructive discussion. No. What it's a discussion of is parents telling kids that trans kids are bad and probably even worse than that. And just imagine being being a trans kid having to deal with transphobic parents.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So we know what discussions on this could be. They could be constructive, yes, but then it could also be very destructive, bigoted, and worse. That's why trans representation is fucking important.
Yep.
Because otherwise the vacuum is filled with erasure. So, but yeah, it's pretty damn clear that, this company is quickly going in the levels of capitulation and shut up and entertain the kids. But in a way that makes us feel comfortable and doesn't piss off parents. And I use parents in air quotes. Because at this point, I've said it before and I said it again. Parents cannot be trusted with children anymore. At this point.
The problem is that in capitalism, the safe bet is always assuming that your enemies will weaponize the law against you if they gain power, and that's what we've got right now. We are in full hashtag FAFO, and dipshit hasn't even been sworn in yet.
Yeah. The government's gonna probably shut down on Friday night.
Yeah. Oh, but they had the continuing resolution where the senators got a $6,000 raise.
No, that blew up.
Okay, good. Well, largely because they got exposed.
No, that blew. Also the
27th Amendment.
That's not why it blew up. That's not why it blew up.
Yeah, it blew up because Muskrat had a conniption about it for some reason.
Well,
it's a dumb, stupid misreading of it.
Yeah, he turned a $6,000 raise into a $80,000 raise in his warped little mind, which was not even like close, going from like 6% to 40%.
Anyway.
The insanity knows no bounds.
To be honest, considering some of the people who are congressmen and senators, they deserve that raise.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they deserved any raise, especially given the 27th Amendment, but, that's another discussion.
Yeah. And now for something completely different. It is, nearing the end of the year, which means we're about to hit Public Domain Day 2025. Which means another round of works are about to go into the public domain. And is thus tradition around this time. The question that should be asked, what is going into the public domain as of January 1st of next year? So we've got some actual heavy hitters. Nobody as quite as weighty as Mickey Mouse 1.0 of this year, but still some fairly beloved characters are hitting the public domain in 2025. Chief among them, Popeye.
Yep, Popeye the Sailor Man.
the first version of Popeye will be hitting the public domain, as well as Tintin. Now, granted,
Mhm.
Tintin is probably maybe a bit more of a complicated situation because he'll be hitting the public domain, say here, but not necessarily in Europe or Belgium, his country of origin. Do remember that.
Mhm.
I thought they
Public
generally
dom-
had a less extensive copyright.
I was going to use the word rigorous, but yes.
Yeah.
The Berne Convention is an interesting thing.
Indeed.
Mhm.
Though, from the world of Disney, there, I don't necessarily want to say number 2 character, but Minnie Mouse will be hitting the public domain.
Yeah, Donald Duck is the number 2 character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we've got some fairly important pop cultural characters that have endured through the ages hitting the public domain, which means prepare to see the Popeye horror movie in 2025.
Or the Popeye porno, or the Popeye, yeah. I am so
Well, maybe
I thought they already made the
Who knows?
Popeye
That's another
horror
one.
movie with Robin Williams.
Oh!
Mm.
Too soon, bro. Too soon.
Yeah. I mean, mind you, that's that's just like the tippy top of what is hitting the public domain, because there is a whole host of things that are becoming the property of the American people in one way or another. Like, for example, the musical composition for Singing in the Rain, American Paris, Bolero, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Those are all hitting the public domain, but not necessarily all their form. Like Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
Right.
That was made into a hit in the 60s by Tiny Tim. That is very much not hitting the public domain. And to relate it to another thing, the sound recording of Rhapsody in Blue is hitting the public domain next year. The sheet music, I believe, is already in the public domain.
Yeah.
Another big one, if you've taken any sort of college course, the treachery of images is hitting the public domain.
Cecine Pas une pipe.
That one. This is not a pipe. So, like I said, a lot of important stuff. Like, if you want a comprehensive list, they are out there. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff, but I, for one, am always glad to see when this happens. And I think that'll about close out the entertainment news for the week, and indeed for the year, I suppose.
All right. Well, let's take a look here at the documents. So
January
what exactly
8th.
is there? Well, it's interesting because where did you get that? Because episode 4 does not have a date on it.
Oh, that's supposed to be January 8th. When it got, let me see. Did that get?
My cat's doing.
Ta-da!
All right, so when we come back on January 8th with episode 4 of season 19, we will have James Black of RNG Gamer. It says, I play all of my games randomly. I also collect and review tons of games. Adam, do you care to expand on that just a little bit?
Adam may be having technical failures.
Fix the document, crashed the
Are you
internet.
there?
Is he alive?
Adam.
Hang on.
He was lost in the void. Now he's kind of here-ish.
Adam, can you hear me?
That's not good.
We heard him for like a second there.
Hello?
Now
Hey.
we can hear you.
Welcome
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, that was weird.
I asked. I read off the blurb you wrote there, but I asked if you had any additional information to expand on that ever so slightly.
Well, I mean, he kind of lives up to his name. Does a lot of random stuff. Like not a lot to one particular subject. Like hardest games I've ever played. A lot of game collecting videos.
Okay.
Talking about the Atari 50 collection. All 104 games played and reviewed. So a lot of stuff in that vein.
Okay. Well, we'll look forward to that in the new year. And other than that, big thank you again to OneSheepArmy for taking the time from across the globe to come and see us in our regular time slot.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that'll be it. So whatever holiday you celebrate at this time of year, I thank you for watching and stay safe out there. And happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and all that good stuff. And
Something happy Festivus for the rest of us.
yes,
Mhm.
Festivus, the holiday for the rest of us. All right, so until January 8th, this is Mac Paladin. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, kids.